Shalom, Brother Otis, Brother Kawakab, Brother Amayakaza.
Shalom, Moses.
Tonight we're going to bring to you a second installment of the classes, the courses according to the Bible that we're going to be sharing with you and whoever it is you decide to share this information with. Just to bring you up to date again with what it is that we offer or what it is we're teaching. We're teaching nationality according to the Bible. And according to the Bible, what we teach our people is that the so-called blacks in America, the so-called West Indians, as you read down the sign, the Haitians, the inhabitants of the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba, the Seminole Indians, the North American Indians, the inhabitants from Guatemala to Panama, basically Central America, from Venezuela to Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, and Mexico. We teach that these people are the original 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. Of course, for the most part, Negroid and Indian descent. According to the scriptures, the nation of Israel was scattered among all nations during the time of the conquest and the transatlantic slave trade. But the bulk of these people, the bulk of the true 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel can be found, for the most part, in the Americas, in what was known as the New World. So, just to recap, last week, what we talked about was what the Bible really is, how it's a book of laws, how that it isn't a document or a faith that was given by God and directed to all of mankind. Just to kind of bring you up to date and recap using the visual aids, we showed how in Deuteronomy chapter 28, it was prophesied that the so-called blacks in America, the people who were imported and brought to the Americas on slave ships, that was a prophecy that we read in Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. All the atrocities that were committed during the slavery, after the slavery or the so-called emancipation had taken place, all the conditions of slavery and the conditions of the post-slavery era are all written up in that book. You have that DVD already. What we also went over last week, just to recap, was the true color of the people of the Bible. We spoke about how that this wasn't the true image of Christ. We read Revelation chapter 13, verse 1, verses chapter 13, Revelation chapter 1, verse 1, and then verses 13 through 15. To show the true color of Christ, we identified his skin being the color of brass as if it had burned in a furnace, and then we use this to highlight the lie that has been perpetrated on the entire world in the name of Christianity or Christendom, that this was supposedly the image of Christ. So today, what our topic is going to be, specifically, we're going to move on to the next topic, and the topic is going to be, according to the Bible, according to the King James Version Bible, who is the so-called white man? Who and what is this phenomenon that we refer to as the white man? Is he really white? According to the Bible, all nations that are upon the face of the earth are recorded in that book. Starting with, for the most part, Genesis chapter 10, the table of nations, gives you an account of all mankind. Everybody, all nations on the face of the earth can be traced back biblically to one of the three sons of Noah. Either Ham, either Shem, or either Japheth. And from those three progenitors, or those three descendants of Noah, came all present-day nations. And the problem is, the names of the people during the course of history, during the course of various conquests, the succession of kingdoms, the names have been changed along with their lands. So what we want to do is focus on the so-called Negroes' nemesis, the so-called white men. Now, according to the Bible, we're going to get it. Matter of fact, we're going to begin with Genesis chapter 25. In Genesis chapter 25, it gives us the account of the birth of the person that we loosely refer to as the white man. And we'll find out that he is actually the people who are mentioned on the sign, the 12 tribes of Israel, the inhabitants of Negroid and Indian descent throughout the Americas. He's actually genealogically our twin brother. So we're going to read that account right now. Genesis chapter 25, beginning at verse 19. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 19 to 34. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife.
Now remember, according to the Bible right now, we're reading about black people. So when he says Abraham begat Isaac, Abraham was a black man, his son Isaac was black. We're going to read about the first white person being born, the true anomaly. Go ahead.
The daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padamaran, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
Basically, it's explaining that after so many years of being married with Isaac with his wife, she was barren. In other words, today we call that sterile. She couldn't have children after so many attempts. Go ahead, she couldn't get pregnant. Continue.
And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled.
So when it says Isaac entreated the Lord, it's saying he prayed, and the Lord entreated him, and the Most High answered his prayer and granted his prayer. Go ahead. Verse what?
Verse 22. And the children struggled together within her.
Now listen, it's already laying down the foundation for what would be a long and intense relationship. Within this woman's womb, it said that the children struggled together within her. So they haven't even been born, and they're already in their conception, they're fighting. Go ahead.
And she said, if it be so, why am I thus?
Yeah, it's a blessing to have gotten pregnant now. Why is it that these children are fighting? Go ahead.
And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Now it's obvious that this one woman wasn't about to give birth to millions of people. So it's already let you know that there were 2 children in her womb. When he says 2 nations are in thy womb, it's letting you know that from these twins, the Lord was going to develop 2 nations. In other words, it's showing you that brothers, that he's going to turn them into 2 different groups of people. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people.
And 2 manner, meaning 2 types of people. Continue.
Shall be separated from thy bowels.
Shall be integrated.
Separated.
It was intended that these 2 children, these 2 twins, would actually go and develop and become their own separate nations. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Continue.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
Now that was a prophecy concerning the relationship. That the dynamic of the relationship that would exist between the 2 of them. One of those people would be stronger, and the other one, it says the elder, the first one to come out, would be a servant to the younger, and the elder shall serve the younger. Go ahead.
Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
Now, this is what we want to point out to the people. When you do not so necessarily a detailed observation, just a general observation of so-called white people, they're not white. The sheets of paper in this book is white. Okay? There is nobody on the face of this earth this color. Just like we're loosely referred to as black people, and you'll find, this is a dictionary, that there are no people on the face of this earth that are this color, black. So we have, for the most part, we range from a very light brown, a very light almond, to a very dark chocolate. Myself and this brother are considered dark brown, and we have different shades between the 2 of us. And then neither of us are the color of this, quote, black dictionary. So when it says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, the first came out red. Read it again.
Verse 25. And the verse came out red, all over like a hairy garment.
The first baby was born and he came out red. Now, when you look at these so-called white people, they are red, they're not white. That's a loose term that's been applied to them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you some visual aids. I'm going to show you a few people that I'm sure most people in your congregation will easily or readily recognize. We got one of our visual aids here. And here you have it. One of the more, you can pan to this person here, that's the ex-president Bill Clinton. Now if you look closely, look at his hair. His hair is what people will consider gray, but it's actually white. He has a little patch of some gray in it, but his hair is white. And when you look at his hairline on his forehead, what color is the man's face? What color is the man's hands?